Hey, this is Phil with Perpetual Growth Group, and I wanted to shoot a quick video today to talk about why you are or are not successful, okay? And I want to ask, to start this video, I want to ask a question, and when I ask this question, I want you to think of the first answer that comes to your brain, that it just spits out at you, and then I'm going to tell a story to kind of illustrate what I'm trying to say. And then as I'm telling the story, you can kind of think through the question that I asked as well and decide, was that first initial response that my brain spit out to me to think about, is that really true? Okay. And the question I want to ask is, based on results, has your life been a success or a failure? Okay. Based on results, has your life been a success or failure? So the story that I want to tell is a couple years ago when I was still in heating and air sales before I went into the online marketing arena. Before that, I had been a salesman and I wasn't very good, right? So my boss used to tell me that I couldn't find $1 in a bank vault, okay? And I would get some sales, but they were like the ones that everyone could have got, right? Like that weren't very hard. They just wanted the work done. Maybe they just liked me. I don't know. And so, but the ones that were harder to close, the ones that you kind of had to work on, I would lose the majority of the time. I couldn't make them happen. And so it was frustrating for me, but my boss had put this compensation system to reward people who had given extra up on the wall. And it was called the Heavy Hitters Club, okay? What the Heavy Hitters Club was, so based on your revenue for the year, you would get some recognition. There was a plaque they would put on the wall. There was a bonus at the end of the year, a Christmas bonus, okay? So, and they would start at $300,000. So $300,000, if you brought in $300,000, you would get your name on the plaque for $300,000. And then there was $400,000, $500,000. It went all the way up to $1 million in revenue for the year. So if you brought in $1 million in revenue for the year, the plaque was named different. It's called Heavy Hitters Club. And you wanted to be part of the Heavy Hitters Club, okay? And the Heavy Hitters Club was you brought in $1 million. You got a way bigger bonus than everyone else. You got a new truck for the year to work in. The company, I mean, it wasn't your truck, but the company would buy a new truck for you to use for the year. So, and you had bragging rights, right? Like you were walking around like everything you did was perfect. So I really wanted to be part of the Heavy Hitters Club. So I said, okay, I set the goal for the year. Now, before that, to preface it, I was like a $300,000 to $400,000 a year revenue guy, right? I wasn't even close. I had a huge bridge that I had to gap between where I was and where I needed to be or where I wanted to be. So I set the goal and I busted my butt. I worked every day. I worked Saturdays and Sundays. I said, if something comes in after hours, you call me. I'll go take care of it. I was reading books like crazy. I was just spending all my time trying to chase this goal down for the year because I really wanted to hit that goal. And so, the year goes by. I had some great months. I had some months I didn't do as well. We get to the end of the year, and it's like time to look at the numbers and see if I hit my goal. And what do you think? Did I hit my goal? No, I did not hit my goal. I was way shy. I hit just below like 700,000. So for the year, which was abysmally much less than Heavy Hitters Club, right? Now, was that a success or a failure? Okay. Well, if you look at if I gauge it on, did I hit Heavy Hitters Club? I failed, right? I failed at the attempt. If we gauge it on, did I become better? Well, yeah, I doubled my revenue in a year, basically. So I became much better that year. And there was a lot. Also, I was the highest producer in the company, that year. So there's a lot of things that were good that came out of it. But what does my brain tell me happened, right? Do I see it as a success or failure? And in reality, it's based on what my subconscious sees as success or failure, okay? What happens is, all of us have succeeded and failed at things. If you look at the very greatest, sports stars, I'm older, so I think about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan talked about how many shots he missed, how many times he missed the game-winning shot. But when you look at his basketball career, was he a success or failure? And everyone would arguably say definitely a success. He was at the time the greatest basketball player ever, up to that point, and arguably even today, depending on who you ask, might say LeBron or somebody else. So so that being said, was his career a success or failure? Well, he failed a bunch of times. You could look at it and say it was a failure, or you could talk about all the successes he made. Well, you have had the same experiences. I mean, not in basketball probably, but where you've had multiple successes and multiple failures. Think about things that you've done that were really hard to do. You learned to walk, right? Learning to walk is probably one of the hardest things that you can do if you've never walked before, okay? But because you never gave up, you finally, kept trying, and that's why you probably walk today, right? Learning to speak, learning to write. Anytime you learn something new and are able to do it proficiently, that's a success, okay? But what does our brain say? So when I asked that question initially, what did your brain say? Did it say you were a success, or did it say you were a failure? See, the past is full of our successes and failures. And we can't change the things that happened. But what is our perception of the past, right? Is our perception that we failed at all these things or that we succeeded? What does our brain go to when we ask that question? And that first response that came into your head was your subconscious mind telling you, what it believes based on, the meaning that you've applied to, things in the past. And the problem with that is, for a lot of us, it says that we're not a success, right? It says that we're a failure. And it comes back to haunt us. So when we do try to go start something new, when we try to take on a new task or a new job or start a business or something hard, a new diet or whatever it is, that subconscious comes right into our heads and says, you can't do that. You're a failure. You've failed. You haven't succeeded at anything. And in reality, it's a lie, right? It's a total lie. But that haunts us. And so what we end up doing is we don't give it our all because deep down we're like, I'm going to fail at this. So we either self-sabotage or we don't give ourselves 100%, if we're a guy, we don't go ask the pretty girl out that we want to take out because, we've been told no before. And so, we assign a meaning that we aren't enough. We aren't worthy. We're not the successful kind. We're not whatever it is that we tell ourselves so that we don't even try, okay? Because deep down, our subconscious believes that we're a failure, and it'll show you evidence as to that case. Even though it could, if it was kind of programmed right, show you successes in your past. See, there's a lot of people that in their lives, when someone asks if their life's been a success or failure, that voice comes in and says, you're a success. Look at everything that you've done, okay? And all it is, it's not necessarily that they've done better and more things. It's not that at all. It's their subconscious mind is telling them that voice. And so where does that come from? Well, I'm not going to get into it in this video. In the next video, I'll talk a little bit more about that because it's going to take a lot longer. But it's based on experiences in our past that happened, most of us when we were younger, okay? So, but what I'd like you to do is just kind of open your mind to that. Like, you are a success. You've done successful things in your life. I don't care who you are. I don't care how little you may think you've achieved. You've done great things. You've probably, graduated from high school or college or more. You've been good at your job. You've learned new skills. You've helped people. Maybe you stood up for your little brother or sister in school or something. Like, there's a lot I'm sure that you've done that can count as a success that your subconscious mind isn't looking at. It's only looking at the evidence of, this is what I failed at, okay? So I just want to tell you that I know you're successful. I know you are good. I know you're enough, okay? Just because you're a human being, you're God's greatest creation, right? And so without getting too sappy here, okay, and that, I want you to think about the question that I asked. Based on results, has your life been a success or failure? And start to wrap your rational brain around it so that you can understand that, yeah, if you look at it, you're a success. You can find successes everywhere, okay? You've done hard things. You've achieved great hard things. So it's there. And in the next video, we'll talk about where that comes from and how to combat that subconscious part of our brain that's like, you know, you're not enough, you suck, you're a loser, whatever that is that's telling you, okay? If you like this, subscribe to my page, Perpetual Growth Group on YouTube. You can go to my website. I help people start online businesses. And I'm really into personal development success principles because I think that's the stuff that holds people back. It's not that they don't learn how to, you know, have an internet business. It's that there's stuff going on in their head that is pushing them down, that's telling them they're not enough. So they don't apply themselves. They don't completely bring their entire person and creativity and genius to the work because, you know, their brain's telling them that they can't do it, or, you know, that it's going to suck or whatever it is. So make it a great day. You can go to my webpage, perpetualgrowthgroup.com, and I can teach you how to set up an online business if you'd like. Thanks for watching, and maybe hit a like. Have a great day.